Okay, let's dive right into this explainer by doing a super quick recap of our last section. We managed to resolve a massive black hole paradox by realizing that a singularity is entirely non-material. It's basically a site where our normal, matter-based scientific laws just literally do not apply. And since we can't rely on physical, material instruments to study something made of non-matter, we have to look elsewhere. Actually, scratch that. We don't have to look elsewhere. We have to look inward. We need to peel back the layers of our own reality to find it hiding right inside us. Yes, you heard that right. We're going to find the singularity inside ourselves. To wrap our heads around this genuinely mind-bending concept, our agenda today is taking us on a literal journey downward. We're covering peeling the cosmic onion, the 4 quantum pillars, the software of life, encrypting the information paradox, and finally, the core of creation. So, Section 1, peeling the cosmic onion, descending from biology to zero-point energy. Let's start the descent. We begin right here in the domain of the life sciences. Think about your own 3D physical body and organs. They're essentially just hardware, right? But this hardware is animated by a totally invisible software of life. The exact moment a living being dies, that software leaves, and the hardware just becomes an inert shell. So to find the ultimate singularity, we need to temporarily set that software aside. We have to strip away the material layers of our hardware, stepping down sequentially through the nested domains of science, and literally losing a spatial dimension at every single step. Now, this is where it completely changes our perspective on solid matter. Down in the domain of classical science, we're looking at atoms. But the 3D fundamental particles making up the atoms in your body, they're actually just 2D subatomic particles revolving and spinning at absolutely incredible speeds. It's kind of like spinning a flat 2D coin on a table. If you spin it fast enough, it creates the visual illusion of a solid 3D sphere. The 3D form is literally just an illusion of motion. Stepping down once again, we enter particle physics. And here, those 2D subatomic particles lose yet another spatial dimension. They're actually composed of one-dimensional strings revolving so rapidly that they appear 2D. Think about looking up at a ceiling fan. Those 1D blades spin so fast that they blur entirely, looking to your eye like a solid 2D circle. That exact same illusion is happening right now inside your very cells. And that brings us perfectly to our final physical drop into quantum mechanics. Those 1D strings and waves, they lose their last spatial dimension. They are revealed to be made of zero-dimensional points called zero-point energy, or ZPE. They link together to form a string, perfectly resembling a trail of individual, zero-dimensional marching ants. From a distance, those tiny points look exactly like a continuous 1D line. By reaching this zero-dimensional zero-point energy, we finally hit the absolute center of the cosmic onion within you. Here, all spatial dimensions hit zero. With the disappearance of the photon particle, time itself becomes utterly dimensionless and undefined. Einstein's famous E=mc² transforms into pure, raw energy. At this exact point, all the domains of matter-based hardware science end. The laws of physics just shut down entirely. Which brings us right to Section 2, the 4 quantum pillars, challenging the single ZP assumption. So the absolutely crucial point here is that to move forward into this non-material realm, we have to challenge a standard assumption in quantum mechanics. Right now, scientists generally assume there's only one random type of zero-point energy at this absolute bottom layer. But we know atoms require 4 fundamental building blocks to function: bosons, neutrons, protons, and leptons. Because of that, there must actually be 4 distinct types of ZP. They form the precise foundational pillars for those exact particles: bosons, neutrons, protons, and leptons. Section 3, the software of life, mapping consciousness to the quantum realm. Let's see how all of this builds our reality by bringing back that software of life we talked about at the very beginning. You know, the non-material programming that animates our physical hardware. Fundamentally, every single action you take as a living being follows a biological cycle. A decision leads to a plan, an action, and a resource. Now, philosophically, this maps flawlessly to 4 deep non-matter organizing principles. You have a resolution, which commands information, cognition, and potential. And this is where the non-matter axiom steps in, and honestly, it's a breathtaking realization. We find that this exact software of life embeds perfectly into the 4 zero-dimensional quantum pillars we just identified. Potential embeds right into lepton ZPE. Cognition, which is your personal sense of I-ness, embeds in the proton ZPE. Information goes into neutron ZPE. And the overarching resolution embeds beautifully into boson ZPE.
This is incredible, right? Because it seamlessly bridges the gap between human consciousness and subatomic physics. Moving to Section 4, encrypting the information paradox, the black hole scale merger.
Having successfully mapped out our internal singularity through this software of life, let's zoom all the way back out to the cosmos. What exactly happens when these exact same fundamental forces are subjected to the unimaginable extreme conditions of a black hole? Cosmologists theorize that at the Planck scale of a black hole, the four fundamental forces of nature actually combine into one. This raises a profound question that has stumped scientists for decades. When this massive merger happens, where does the universe's space-time data actually go? Well, here's the answer. As those forces merge, the cosmic software of information, cognition, and potential collapses entirely into absolute resolution. All of that space and time data isn't destroyed. Rather, it becomes fully encrypted into this unified resolution state. For anyone or anything inside that merged state, this absolute encryption creates this subjective illusion that space and time have completely ceased to exist. And this absolute encryption of our subatomic software perfectly explains Stephen Hawking's famous information paradox. As Hawking pointed out, the information about anything falling into a black hole is encrypted in a heavily scrambled way. Think about that word, scrambled. It proves the space-time data isn't permanently lost to the void at all. It's just safely scrambled and tucked away into pure resolution.
Finally, Section 5, the core of creation, discovering the cosmic blueprint.
Here is the ultimate philosophical revelation waiting for us at the very bottom of this cosmic onion. Just think about how you operate in your own daily life. A resolution simply cannot exist without an underlying intention or a dream you're trying to fulfill. So if the absolute core of a black hole singularity is pure resolution, it concludes that at the very heart of a black hole lies a conscious, dreamlike intention. This unified point energy sitting at the singularity isn't just some dense nugget of inert matter. Far from it. It is a self-regulated life energy. It's a living entity that holds the inherent potential, the dreams, and the blueprints to create and nourish all of existence. Everything else we see, all the material hardware around us, is really just a temporary, localized rendering of this pure energy.
Therefore, when we set all that physical matter and hardware aside, we're left with only 3 true fundamental building blocks of reality. First, manifold singularities, meaning there is exactly one dreamlike, self-regulated life energy singularity per black hole in the multiverse. Second, we have infinite space. And third, undefined time. Together, these 3 entities create, nourish, and destroy absolutely all things just to experience existence.
So we've done it. We've successfully peeled back the cosmic onion. We found the exact blueprint of the singularity within our own non-material design, mapping the software of life straight down to zero-point energy. But honestly, this leaves us with an incredible provocation to ponder. If the absolute core of the cosmos is essentially a conscious dream, how exactly does a dream become the deterministic cosmic software that literally builds physical reality? Make sure to join us for our next explainer, Section 4, Nothing to Everything, the Fourfold Functional Symmetry, where we are finally going to watch this dreamlike singularity construct the entire universe. You definitely won't want to miss it.